What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with another Aha demo. And we're continuing through our journey among an assorted selection of the demos from Stay on These Roads, 1988. Thank you again to Sophia for providing these. And we're going to listen to the demo for The Living Daylights. Now, my understanding is this was recorded prior to John Barry getting involved in the tune. I have seen the Aha movie, and I've heard people talk about this in the comments, so I'm aware that the working relationship between John Barry and the band was very contentious and difficult. I still think the final product they put together is a fantastic track, and I've since learned, hearing some live performances, that in terms of audience participation and singing along, it seems to be a real classic at their shows. I'm also aware that John Barry, without permission or knowledge of the band, tried to change part of what they had done, and then the band changed it back, and that was part of why there was such salty feelings in both directions. In any case, this being before John Barry got involved, I would estimate or expect to be the idea that the band had for how to write a song for a Bond movie. I am aware also that some of the lines were not fully developed yet, and so there's going to be some na-na-nas instead of the actual lines that became the lyrics of the tune. Nevertheless, I do like the song a lot, and I'm curious to hear sonically and, in that sense, lyrically, how different it is from the final recording. So let's listen. This is the demo for The Living Daylights by Aha, included later in the album Stay on These Roads, 1988. Different intro. So definitely, notably, audibly different from the later full produced version. It does sound like a demo in some respects, but I like the sort of stripped down, a bit more smoky sound to it. It has a bit more of a raw feel, which again, that's partly why it sounds like a demo, but it also gives it more of an edge. Some of the guitars sounded more metallic and like, what's the right word? Sharp, like it was struck chords. Like it felt a bit more aggressive, is I guess what I mean to say, a bit less smooth and flowing. There were string keyboard sections, but it didn't have that string opening, and it just felt a bit more intense in parts. The vocals, again, they sound a bit more natural, like, hey, let's get this on recording and then, you know, start tinkering with it. But I like the way they add to that raw intensity, and there's a couple vocalization moments which I'm trying to remember if they're exactly like that in the final version, which, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm trying to recall what people said. I think the single version for the film was slightly different than the version that ended up on Stay on These Roads. Is that correct? Am I remembering that correctly? But yeah, so again, it sounds like a work in progress, but it also sounds a bit edgier and a bit tougher, is maybe the right word, than the final version. I also couldn't help but notice that clicky, constant cycling percussion rhythm. I don't know if it was the hi-hats or what it was, but it had this real metallic shaking sort of quality to it, and that stood out much more than in the later fully produced version. So yeah, interesting again to hear these demos, not just in terms of a-ha's creative process, what they start with, the pieces that they put into a demo recording and then start tinkering with, you know, extending or leaving out or altering by the time you get to the final recorded product, but also just in terms of the individual songs themselves, in terms of what it started like and what it ends up being when it gets to a final released album or single, what have you. So yeah, another interesting one, and ultimately there were some moments where you expect the actual words that you know from the full song, but here they're just more melodic renderings. So either way, another good one. Let me know what you think. And Luca, at this point, I'm going to offer the chair, but I think she wants the floor. Yes, indeed. I will see you next time. Peace.